You're listening to the Kirkintilloch Herald, a Q & Review recording service podcast, brought to you by our team of volunteers currently recording from their homes across Scotland. Whether you're listening via the BWBF online players, the telephone app, or our brand new Alexa skill, please phone us on 0141 772 3976 to feedback on what you want us to provide and improve upon. Please also join your family and friends in being our audio ambassadors and share our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram all at Q & Review. That's @ CUEANDREVIEW.
This week's Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald, date 22nd June 2022, read by Hunter, Georgina, Corey, Alan and me, Ian.
Sporting Opportunity by Liz Gallagher. Work is forging ahead on a new sporting facility in Eastern Bartonshire, and offers are now being invited to lease it on a long-term basis. The council is captaining a team of partners to create Kirkintilloch Community Sports Complex on a derelict brownfield site to the west of Park Burn in the South Bank area of the town. Robertson Construction has been contracted to deliver the new asset, which will offer high-quality sporting facilities, including community access. Kirkintilloch Community Sports Complex is due for completion this autumn and will include a full-size artificial 3G sports pitch with floodlighting, which can divide into 3 7-a-side pitches, main stand and VIP stand spectator seating of a total of 302 seats, including integrated viewing facilities for people with disabilities. Pavilion building, including charging facilities, reception area with small cafe and bar space, kitchen and toilets. Car parking, including spaces for people with disabilities, electric car charging points and bike stands. The council is inviting offers to lease the facility on a full repairing and insuring basis for an initial 25-year period. The leasee will be required to provide school and community access. All offers must be accompanied by a business plan. The closing date is 22nd of August. Full terms and conditions are at 0141 578 8610 and 07799 656 843, or email david.caracha@easternbarton.gov.uk. You can also visit www.easternbarton.gov.uk/Kirkintilloch Community Sports Complex. Councillor Gordon Lowe, leader of the council, said, quote, "I'm pleased to confirm work is progressing to deliver the new Kirkintilloch Community Sports Complex. The council is now in a position to invite offers to lease the facility on a long-term basis. The complex will support our local outcomes improvement plan, specifically in health, helping to provide sporting opportunities to local schools and community organisations and groups." End quote. Article by Liz Gallagher.
This week in history. June 22nd, 1941, the German army invaded Russia. On this day last year, the Duchess of Cambridge revealed she has become a beekeeper and offers schoolchildren a taste of honey from her hives at her Norfolk home. June 23rd, 1956, General Nasser became Egypt's first president after an election in which voting was compulsory and he was the only candidate. On this day last year, research suggested trust in news coverage had grown in the UK, with the coronavirus pandemic increasing the appetite for reliable and accurate reporting. June 24th, 1947, the series of flying saucer stories started when a pilot, Kenneth Arnold, reported seeing 9 disc-shaped objects over Mount Rainier, Washington. June 25th, 1968, comedian Tony Hancock killed himself in a hotel bedroom in Sydney, Australia. On this day last year, the final episode of Conan O'Brien's Late Night Show aired. June 26, 1962, a young American tennis player, Billie Jean Moffitt, 18, knocked out top seed Margaret Smith, the match that began Billie Jean King's long reign at Wimbledon. June 27, 1954, the first nuclear power station opened at Obninsk in Russia. On this day last year, Edgbaston Cricket Ground was used as a mass vaccination centre. Welcome for refugees. Report by Liz Gallagher. Welcome sessions for Ukrainian refugees and their hosts are taking place across Eastern Bartonshire. Drop-in events have been planned to give displaced persons and hosts the opportunity to speak to representatives from various teams across Eastern Bartonshire Council, including education, English for speakers of other languages, ESOL, and the Community Planning Partnership and Resettlement Team, in an informal and relaxed setting. Council officers are working with partners, including Eastern Bartonshire Citizen Advice Bureau, Eastern Bartonshire Health and Social Care Partnership, Greater Glasgow and Clyde NHS, Eastern Bartonshire Action for Refugees, and Police Scotland. The aim of the event is to signpost refugees to support locally, such as English for speakers of other languages classes, and to offer advice on matters such as health, education, money and benefits. Council leader Gordon Lowe said, "We are glad to be able to provide assistance in the heart of our communities to those fleeing the shocking conflict and humanitarian crisis in Ukraine." Eastern Bartonshire Council has committed to participating and supporting a range of vulnerable people within managed resettlement programmes through official UK and Scottish Government schemes. The resettlement of refugees can include accommodation, but also the whole wraparound support from both Council and key partners. Through partnership working, we can bring together expertise to ensure that any refugees resettling in this area are fully supported as they adjust to their life here. We thank our communities for their generosity and support so far, and for granting arrived displaced families and individuals the privacy and space to resettle in such challenging circumstances. Events have already been held at Gavin Mill in Milngavie and Lenzie Union Church, and more are planned on Tuesday the 5th of July at Kirkintilloch Baptist Church from 2 to 4 p.m, and Wednesday 13th of July at New Kilpatrick Church, Bearsden, from 7 to 9 p.m. Interpreter facilities will be available. The council are providing 4 houses for refugees, and many families have also signed up to sponsor for homes for Ukraine.
Food for thought. New food hygiene ratings have been awarded to a number of restaurants, cafes and canteens. The Food Standards Agency's website shows, and it's all good news for them all. Pass Balmore Catering at Balmore Golf Club, Golf Course Road, Balmore, rated on June the 1st. Pass The Grove at Unit 5 to 8, The Grove, Millersnuke Road, Lenzie, on May the 18th. Pass Costa at Unit 11, Costa Coffee, The Triangle, Bishopbriggs, Eastern Bartonshire, rated on May the 17th. Pass Kirkintilloch Baptist Church at Townhead, rated on May the 17th. Pass The Indian Cottage, Nico's, at 10 Kilsyth Road, Kirkintilloch, rated on May the 17th. Pass Mahoney's Steakhouse at 181 to 183 Kirkintilloch Road, Bishopbriggs, rated on May the 11th. Pass Compass Catering at Asda Cafe, Bishopbriggs, rated on March the 1st.
Paulson accused of romance fraud. The former Tory leader of Eastern Bartonshire Council has been arrested over an alleged romance fraud. The BBC reported this week that Andrew Paulson, who was the co-leader of Eastern Bartonshire Council until the recent May elections, when he was re-elected as Conservative councillor for Bearsden South, has been released pending further inquiries. According to the report, his arrest is mentioned in court papers for a separate civil action brought by a 68-year-old woman. Mr. Paulson, 49, told the BBC he was unable to comment due to a confidentiality clause which is linked to that civil case. In the court papers lodged by the woman, she claimed that Mr. Paulson persuaded her to let him manage her finances and used her money to buy property for himself. She alleges that he abused her trust and exercised undue influence over her. The women also alleged that they had a 5-year relationship that ended in 2018 where Mr. Paulson was getting remarried. She claims he sought to rekindle their association in 2021 after she had received a large divorce settlement. Mr. Paulson stood as a Conservative candidate in last year's Holyrood election. The Bearsden South councillor is also a director of the Christian community radio station Revival FM. A Police Scotland spokesperson said, "A 49-year-old man has been arrested in connection with fraud and released pending further inquiries."
Can You Help See Me project. Young people in East Dunbartonshire have the opportunity to make a big difference to a Scottish mental health programme. See Me, Scotland's programme to end mental health stigma and discrimination, is recruiting for new volunteers aged 16 to 18 to help them with their work in schools and youth work settings. The See Me team want to hear from young people in the area who have experience of mental health problems and want to make a difference for the thousands of people Scotland-wide who have faced stigma and discrimination. See Me volunteer Christy McCann, 20, who has been involved with the programme since she was 16, says that volunteering has had a huge impact on her life. Her See Me highlights have included delivering workshops, being involved in projects which have made it into the news, and meeting Prince William to discuss youth mental health at an event to mark the NHS 70th birthday. Christie said, "Volunteering with See Me gave me a whole new boost of confidence. Before I was shy and not very outgoing, but See Me helped me with that. They have given me opportunities that I would never have got the chance to have. See Me isn't just a volunteering opportunity, it's an opportunity for you to grow as a person." See Me's volunteers support the programme's work in lots of different ways, both in person and remotely. Applications are open until the 6th of July. Full details at seemescotland.org.
Council Clean Bill of Health. Financial watchdog organisation Audit Scotland gave East Dunbartonshire Council a clean bill of health in its most recent monitoring report. Although it made some recommendations for improvement, the report concluded it found the Council's financial statements to be accurate. It added, "In general, appropriate and effective arrangements were in place for financial management, financial sustainability, governance and transparency and value for money. We did identify some areas where there is scope for improvement. Auditors recommended faster processing of payroll reconciliations, a procedure which compares records to ensure accuracy." Council, be scam aware. The Council's Trading Standards Service is urging people in East Dunbartonshire to share their experiences of being scammed as part of a national campaign. Scams Awareness Fortnight is a national campaign from the Citizens Advice Bureau encouraging people to report and talk about the scams. This year's campaign will take place from the 13th to the 26th of June. Scammers can strike at any time, from mailing scams with fake lottery wins to online adverts for products which don't exist. They use various tricks and tactics to try and steal people's money, such as making contact out of the blue and piling pressure on people to agree to a deal on the spot. Victims of scams are often reluctant to talk about what happened to them, but the Council's Trading Standards Service wants to encourage more people to report scams so the authorities can chase down fraudsters. Reporting being scammed also means that people can receive advice on how to try to get their money back or any other steps they should take to protect themselves. Leaders of East Dunbartonshire Council, Gordon Lowe, said, "This national campaign is designed to raise the awareness of the types of scams that these unscrupulous fraudsters engage in. Knowing how to spot a scam is the best line of defence against being scammed. While scammers will always use tactics like cut price deals and pressure selling to draw people in, there are more ways for scammers to reach people with different bogus offers, from texts and emails to social media and online adverts. Scams are crimes that can happen to anyone, but we can all take a stand to help stop them. Our trading standards officers can offer advice and assistance on how to try to avoid scams and safeguard yourself and others in the community. We want to create a network of confident, alert consumers in Eastern Bartonshire who know what to do when they spot a scam. I would encourage residents and businesses that have concerns about possible scam to contact the Council's Trading Standards team for help and advice. You can get in touch by telephone on 0300 123 4510 or by email at trading.standards@easternbarton.gov.uk.
MSP, Chance to Prosper. Local MSP Rona Mackay has welcomed the publication of the first in a series of documents from the Scottish Government which shows how Scotland and the UK compares to other similar-sized independent European nations on key comparators. Rona Mackay, MSP, said, "Scotland has everything it takes to be a hugely successful nation, yet Westminster control has held it back while comparable countries of a similar size prosper. Independence gives Scotland the opportunity to fulfil its full potential to be a fairer, greener and more equal nation. It puts the power into the hands of Scotland, not Tory governments that Scotland didn't vote for. A decade of Tory austerity coupled with a Brexit that Scotland didn't vote for has made us poorer. As the cost of living crisis deepens for people across Strathkelvin and Bearsden, it's right that the Scottish Government lays bare the cost of living with Westminster in this series of papers."
Reward for Workers' Efforts in Pandemic by Neil McGrory. In recognition of their efforts throughout the pandemic, all employees of North Lanarkshire Council are to be given an extra day off. The additional holiday will need to be taken during the next 2 years. It is a reward for workers going above and beyond throughout the crisis to deliver vital services at times when North Lanarkshire had some of the highest coronavirus infection rates in the whole of Scotland. During a meeting of the full council, Deputy Leader Tracy Carragher said, quote, "Over the last 2 years, we know there have been significant challenges faced by many in our communities. That is seen clearly in the challenges faced by our council staff, who have been working in a difficult COVID environment. Despite these challenges, these same staff have worked tirelessly, playing a vital role in keeping our services running in unprecedented circumstances. This includes the significant flexibility, commitment and effort shown by staff who are required to deliver services throughout the most difficult periods of the pandemic. Also by those needed to support vulnerable residents and contribute to wider regional public health and NHS efforts to minimise and manage the impact of COVID-19 in our communities." The proposal was developed through discussions within the council and with trade unions as a meaningful gesture of recognition. Councillors unanimously agreed the proposal to award staff the additional day's leave. Meanwhile, a separate new scheme has been launched as another means of thanking the efforts of those who worked during the pandemic. Its key aim is to provide big nights out for paid carers who love live music events. Eligible services can register and then staff can enter ballots for events at places like the Hydro, the SEC Armadillo, O2 Academy Glasgow and O2 Academy Edinburgh, as well as 30 other venues across the UK. Ballot winners will receive a pair of free tickets for these high-value nights out on payment of a £4.50 booking fee. Full details on how to enter a ballot can be found at www.concertsforcarers.org.uk. Article by Neil McGrory.
Views sought. Eastern Bartonshire Council wants to hear people's views on short-term lets in the area before a new licensing scheme is introduced in October. The Civic Government Scotland Act 1982, Licensing of Short-Term Lets Order 2022, passed by the Scottish Parliament, states that all local authorities in Scotland must introduce a licensing scheme for properties operating as short-term lets. The Council's draft short-term lets policy focuses on ensuring that an efficient, effective and proportionate licensing scheme is put in place which meets the needs and circumstances of Eastern Bartonshire whilst supporting applicants. Council Leader Councillor Gordon Lowe said, I encourage everyone to get involved and make their views known. Visit www.easternbarton.gov.uk/short-term-let's-consultation.
Hospitality Awards. Report by Liz Gallagher. Local MP Amy Callaghan has launched the inaugural Eastern Bartonshire Hospitality Awards this week in celebration of local industry. The awards are the first of their kind in Eastern Bartonshire, and they will shine a light on the best local hospitality businesses following a tough 2 years for the industry throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. The awards will take place in restaurants, cafes, pubs and takeaways from across Eastern Bartonshire. There will be 3 rounds of voting, with members of the public now invited to nominate their favourite businesses. Voting from June 23rd will whittle this down to a shortlist of 5. A final vote in the shortlist will follow, with the winner announced in early August. The awards were officially launched by Ms Callaghan at the Bishopbriggs Hub in Bishopbriggs this week, with support from the new leader of Eastern Bartonshire Council, Councillor Gordon Lowe, as well as the Provost Councillor Gillian Rennick and Councillor Pamela Marshall. Ms Callaghan also announced that for each hospitality business she visits over the course of the awards, she will donate a bag of food to Eastern Bartonshire Food Bank. You can get involved by nominating your favourite business at www.amycallaghan.scot/hospitality awards. Speaking at the launch, the local MP said, "We've got a great hospitality businesses across Eastern Bartonshire, but they've had a tough time over the last couple of years. That's why I've launched the first ever Eastern Bartonshire Hospitality Awards. This is about shining a light on the best of Eastern Bartonshire and hopefully encouraging people to make the most of our hospitality businesses to both eat and drink local. But to make this happen, I need your help. Please nominate your favourite business using the form on my website. Then the fun will really begin, when you'll have the chance to vote for a long list of nominated businesses. Of course, in the midst of the Tory cost of living crisis, there are many people in our community who can't access the hospitality industry. That's why I will also be donating a bag of food to Eastern Bartonshire Food Bank for every hospitality business I visit. The awards are ultimately not just about supporting our local hospitality industry, but about supporting our community. I can't wait to see who is nominated and, of course, which will be the first business's name to be engraved on the winner's trophy. The awards follow the local MP's visit to the local theatre arts group, Creative Spark, with council leader Gordon Lowe to throw their support behind a project targeting loneliness and isolation. During the visit to Eastern Bartonshire-based Creative Spark, they attended a community drama project at the Fort Theatre in partnership with Seritas Advocacy. Dive into Scotland. Loving summer at our beaches. Report by Julie Curry. The first day of summer was on Tuesday of this week, and the school holidays are now looming large. Many may be planning their means of escape to sunnier climes, but with airport issues, train strikes and the spiralling cost of living, others will decide to stay closer to home. While Scotland, admittedly, can't compete with the Costers or the Argyle for wall-to-wall sunshine, it does have world-class beaches. We've compiled a wee list here of some of the best the country has to offer, so you can pack up your bucket and spade and head to the seaside when the sun finally does decide to make an appearance. For those looking to combine a city and beach visit, Portobello is an ideal choice. A prime location for wild swimming, it also has an array of cafes and restaurants to warm up along the promenade post-dip. This beautiful stretch of sandy beach also provides the perfect runaround for four-legged friends, and its location close to Edinburgh means you can enjoy both beach and city. Dundee is another excellent choice. Named the UK's first UNESCO City of Design in 2014, it is set to celebrate its status as the undisputed home of comics with the Dundee Summer Bash Streets Festival from July the 14th to 24th. Supported by Event Scotland as part of Scotland's Year of Stories 2022, Dundee will become Beano Town as the much-loved comic book characters will take over the streets of the city for an extravaganza of workshops, events and stories. Aberdeen has also I'll be up there when it comes to the combined city and beach break, with its sandy beach just a short stroll from the busy centre streets. With a range of cafes and restaurants, a fun fair and cinema, just in case the heavens open, the beach makes for an excellent afternoon outing. Not too far from Glasgow, Lunderson Bay in Inverkip is the perfect spot for families to kick back and relax. The vast grassy area provides plenty of space for playing games and leads down to the blend of sandy beach and pebble shores, ideal for building sandcastles and rock pooling. A lesser known alternative to the NC 500, the Southwest Coastal 300 route will take you to a quiet and secluded peninsula of Brighouse Bay in Kirkcudbright. For a taste of out-of-this-world space exploration, visitors should make a trip to the Dark Space Planetarium. Further along the SWC 300 route, explore the iconic lighthouses and the Rins of Galloway, with the new Lighthouse Trail providing the option to take in the coastal views by boat tour or electric bike hire. The Fife Coastal Pass is also well worth exploring, giving you a chance to enjoy not only spectacular views of the coast and any number of beautiful beaches, but also the opportunity to explore the kingdom's rich history. And don't forget to stop off for an award-winning fish supper in Anstruther while enjoying the views. A slice of paradise. If you're looking to get away from it all, the islands are always a good bet. Calgary Beach on the Isle of Mull, flanked by cliffs with views to Col and Tyree, boasts crystal clear waters and stretches of silver sands, sure to take your breath away. This peaceful haven is ideal for families and their four-legged friends. Known as the Hawaii of the North, Tyree provides a tranquil paradise for holidaymakers to relax and unwind. With whiteshell beaches and turquoise waters, Ballyfield Bay is an idyllic spot where you can also enjoy a wealth of wildlife, so don't forget to pack your binoculars. For more holiday ideas, www.visitscotland.com is a great port of call too.
Transgender hate crimes now at a record high, by Julie Curry. Hate crimes against people who are transgender in Scotland rose 87% in the last year. The figure was contained in the Hate Crime in Scotland 2021-22 report, released this week by the Crown Office. It recorded 84 charges aggravated by transphobia in 21-22, compared with 45 the previous year. Racially aggravated incidents remain the most common form of hate crime, with 3,107 charges filed over the same period, a decline of 7%. However, hate crimes towards people with disabilities rose by 44% to 666. It is the first time these crimes have overtaken those aggravated by religious prejudice, of which there were 512. Overall, the number of hate crime charges reported was 5,640, marginally less 0.2% than reported in 2020-21. Lord Advocate Dorothy Bain QC said, quote, "Hate crime has damaging consequences for individuals, our communities, and society as a whole. No one should find themselves targeted or abused for the simple act of being who they are. We would urge any victims or witnesses to such crimes to come forward and report it. They can be confident that Scottish prosecutors are committed to a robust approach to every report of hate crime they receive." End quote. Hate crime legislation currently covers offences aggravated by a victim's race, religion, disability, sexual orientation, and transgender identity. Last March, MSPs passed a controversial new hate crime law, which has yet to be introduced. The legislation will consolidate existing law and extends protection for vulnerable groups. It also includes a new offence of stirring up hatred. The majority of hate crime charges contain a racial element. However, the proportion that contain a racial element has decreased from 75% in 2012-13 to 55% in 21-22. The proportion of hate crime charges that relate to sexual orientation has increased from 13 to 32% over the same period. In 2021-22, the first time the proportion relating to disability, 12%, was higher than that relating to religion, which was at 9%. The number of charges with a sexual orientation aggravation increased by 10% in 2021 to 22, to a total of 1,781. Article by Julie Curry.
Words are powerful. The work of 4 Scottish contributors has been published in a new charity book of poetry and short stories celebrating Ukraine. All proceeds from the sale of Hope for Ukraine, published by Tim Saunders Publications, are being donated to the Sunflower of Peace Foundation, a non-profit organisation which provides medical and humanitarian aid in the areas worst affected by violence in Ukraine. Tim Saunders said, "Publishing this book is the best way that I can help Ukraine. Words are extremely powerful, positive words even more so. The book contains work from more than 40 contributors from across the UK, Ireland and Australia, including Scots Lee Montgomery Hughes, John F. R. Monroe, Roger Knight and Leela Gautam. Hope for Ukraine is available now, both in ebook and paperback format, from Amazon."
Area gains top mark for school leavers. New statistics have shown 95.5% of pupils across Eastern Bartonshire were in a positive destination within 9 months of leaving school last year. The latest figures show that 1,323 local school leavers went on to work, training or further study. Across Scotland, the statistics show that 93.2% of pupils overall who left school last year were in a positive destination, which includes work, training or further study 9 months later, up from 92.2% in the previous year. The figures also show a record proportion of young people from the most deprived communities going on to positive destinations, and the gap between school leavers from the most and least deprived areas achieving positive destinations narrowed to a record low of 7.5 percentage points. The gap has now more than halved since 2009-2010. Strathkelvin and Bearsden SNP MSP Rona Mackay said, "It is brilliant to see 95.5% of pupils across Eastern Bartonshire are going on to positive destinations, whether that be work, training or further study. After what has been a significantly challenging couple of years for our young people, all credit must be given to them for overcoming the challenges and the hard work of them and all those who have supported them. I am grateful that the SNP Scottish Government is ensuring that strong action is being taken to fulfil our commitment to get it right, our every child, providing the support and environment to give all our young people the best possible challenge to succeed, no matter what their background. From investing in tackling the poverty-related attainment gap, free tuition, or introducing the Back to Work jobs grant for people aged 16 to 24, the SNP and government is taking actions to prioritise young people in Eastern Bartonshire. Whilst opposition parties continue to paint a bleak picture of what young people in Scotland are achieving, the reality is that real progress is being made as a result of SNP's action. One of the largest barriers standing in the way of their future prospects is being tied to a Westminster government holding communities and sectors back. The figures were released in Scottish Government's summary statistics for attainment and initial leaver destinations. Scotland's census. People in Eastern Bartonshire are being encouraged to take part in the next phase of Scotland's census. The Census Coverage Survey, CCS, is the second largest social research exercise in Scotland after the census itself, covering around 1.5% of households, including some in Eastern Bartonshire. Together with census data, it helps to provide an accurate estimate of Scotland's population and the people within it. The survey will be conducted door to door by staff carrying identification. Jerry Corns, Chief Executive of the Council, said, "The Census Coverage Survey is an important part of the census process and we encourage residents to take part if they are invited to do so. It takes around 10 minutes and is confidential."
Have a say on the future of our ambulance service. Report by Julie Curry. The Scottish Ambulance Service, SES, is asking Scots to share their views on its draft 2030 strategy as it looks to shape its service to meet the needs of a changing population. The strategy will help improve care to patients by anticipating needs and responding to those as quickly and safely as possible, delivering the right care in the right time in the right place. After launching a discussion document in April, SAS initially asked for input from internal and external stakeholders. This feedback was taken on board, and now people are being urged to give their input on how to improve services over the coming years. Pauline Howie, SAF's chief executive, said, "The last 2 years have profoundly impacted our health, economy, society, and our service. We have sought to deliver the best care we can throughout the pandemic, but we know the impacts of COVID-19 are still felt acutely by individuals, our staff, and the wider health and care system. The environment in which we operate is changing, and we need to adapt to meet the changing needs of our population, which is steadily growing. Our top priorities are patient safety and staff welfare. Our brilliant staff have provided feedback, which is invaluable, and the public's feedback will be equally as important for us to look at as we look ahead to the future. We really want to hear from people all over Scotland about their experiences, what they would like to see improved, and any challenges and issues in their local area. To achieve our aims, we need to collaborate, design and deliver the service change with our staff, volunteers, public, patients, local and national government, community groups, charities and voluntary organisations. The closing date for feedback is July the 11th. Download the draft strategy and provide feedback at www.scottishambulancesservice.com. The Scottish Ambulance Service employs over 5,000 highly skilled staff. It provides an emergency ambulance service to a population of over 5 million people, serving all mainland and island communities. Its patient transport service also takes around 1 million patients to and from hospital. Each year, SAS has responds to over 1.5 million calls. Opinion. Let's talk. This week's letters page from the Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@gnscotland.co.uk and write letters in the subject field. Undisputed mandate? There is no undisputed mandate. Sir, it really is time the claim by Nicola Sturgeon and her supporters that the SNB has an undisputed mandate to hold another divisive referendum is put to bed. Based on voting result from last year's Holyrood election, the figures for pro-union v pro-separation votes are so close, less than 1%, that no party can claim to have an undisputed mandate. At the Scottish Council elections this year, the number of pro-separation parties councillors elected was 488, and pro-union party councillors elected was 583. These figures do not include independent councillors elected. There is no mandate, and Ms Sturgeon and her followers should drop that claim. The First Minister's desire is for a wealthier, happier and fairer Scotland, and she wants to hold a referendum to achieve this. She has had 7 years to create a wealthier, happier and fairer Scotland, and has spectacularly failed on each of these aspirations. The bile, divisions and rancour which nationalism/separation has created is a stain on Scotland and its people. It is not a happy place. Once the real facts and figures of the SNP proposals are known, if we ever get the real facts, Scotland will see what a dire future is ahead of for an independent country. After all, Andrew Wilson keeps telling us, independence will be hard. Just how hard they won't say, and why would any government want to make life hard for its people? Yours, etc., Douglas Cow. Address supplied. If you don't like tune, shoot Piper. Sir, so Boris is considering not replacing the ethics advisor following the resignation of Lord Geit? It's not surprising, given that he took no notice of what Lord Geit advised in the first place, that he now is changing the rules to get the vitally important function to suit his own view of what is right and wrong. Lord Geit, as a man of honour, properly quit himself after applying ethics to himself due to ministerial interests. I suppose that it is now a case of Boris changing the system to cover up oversight of what shreds of ethics remain at Westminster. If you don't like the tune, shoot the Piper. Yours, etc., John Cutland, by email. Evidence is we will be worse off. Sir, Nicola Sturgeon tells the nation once again that she has a mandate to seek another referendum. She says that we will be better off as a small independent country, but does not give any evidence to support her claims, and certainly does not provide any financial or economic reasons. All the evidence that is available suggests that financially we will be much worse off. VAT and income tax will rise, we are already 21p in the pound standard rate, and we should not mention health, education, ferries or airports, and don't even talk about potholes. The best solution to the independence question is for Boris Johnson to tell Nicola Sturgeon, you can have another independence referendum, and by the way, you can have another one after that if you want. Yours, etc., James McIntyre. Address supplied. Our taxes are helping rich buy electric. Sir, at last some good news. The present grant for electric cars of £1,500 has been terminated. More than 11 years ago, it was £5,000 for a car with CO2 emissions of less than 75 grams per kilometre. The grant has been steadily reduced over the years, from 5,000 to 3,500 to 3,000 to 2,500 to 1,500 and now, thankfully, zero. Since 2020, £2.5 billion of taxpayers' money has been paid. Why have taxpayers been forced to fund these rich enough to buy an electric car? Yours, etc., Clark Cross, by email. Yon bonny closed banks. Sir, the Royal Bank of Scotland sent me a new debit card. On the front is a colourful picture of a beach hut. Nothing about the photo brings Scotland immediately to mind. Why not scenic mountains or lochs? Or one of our famous landmarks? Or, to bring things closer to the RBS home, could they not have used a photo of one of the many local branches that they have closed in recent years? Yours, etc., Richard Gordon, via email. Opinion: Amy Callaghan MP. A wealthier, happier and fairer land. Scotland is not too wee or too poor to be independent. We're not any of the empty soundbites the Prime Minister or his mates might use to put us down. The discussions we'll soon have about the future of our country shouldn't focus on whether we can thrive as an independent nation. They should focus on how best to build a better nation we all want to see and live in. The time to begin those discussions is now. A lot has changed since 2014, but the fact remains we can be a wealthier, happier, fairer nation with the normal powers of independence. You don't need to take my word for it, you only need to glance at other European nations of a similar size to Scotland, and that is precisely what the Scottish Government has done with the publication of Independence in the Modern World. This is the first in a series of papers that outlines the refreshed case for Scotland to become an independent country. The paper compares 10 European countries of a similar size to Scotland and shows that these countries outperform the UK. Let's look at pensions. A pensioner in Denmark receives £371 per week. In the Netherlands they get £254 per week, and Irish pensioners receive £212. Pensioners in the UK, however, receive a woeful £183 per week. This forces our older generations to top up their pensions with personal savings and occupational pensions to a much higher level than the OECD average. The UK's shocking level of support for our older generation is set against the worst cost of living crisis of any G7 country, and inflation running at double the rate of France. This is a direct result of Brexit, and there is a broad consensus things will only get worse. Brexit was an act of economic vandalism, locking us out of free trade with our largest market, and ending freedom of movement has limited the opportunities available to our young people. It has impacted all our lives, and silly blue passports are the least of it. It has also badly affected businesses here in Eastern Bartonshire. They have been deprived of staff, opportunities to export have been restricted, all of which compounds the fact business investment in the UK is lower than any of the comparator countries examined by the Scottish Government. The Westminster system doesn't work for Scotland, and Brexit has only made that more apparent. This is a political system where I have my knuckles rapped for calling the Prime Minister a liar, but Johnson can remain in office despite being a liar. We can do so much better than this. We can follow the lead of our successful independent neighbours. We can seize with both hands the opportunities of independence. If Ireland, Denmark and the Netherlands can prosper, then why not Scotland? You can contact Amy Callaghan MP by calling 0207 219 3000, by emailing amy.callaghan.mp@parliament.uk, or via her Facebook page at facebook.com/Amy Callaghan SMP.
Please use free benefits calculator. Some 850,000 families who were entitled to receive pension credit 2019-20 did not claim it. As a result, Advice Direct Scotland is urging people to use its free benefits calculator to check their entitlement. The National Advice Service's online calculator is tailored specifically for Scotland, allowing people to check their entitlement to both reserved and devolved benefits. Spokesman Colin Matheson said, "The cost of living has increased for everyone over the last few months, with budgets being stretched to breaking point for many. There are practical things we can do to try to improve our situation when faced with increasing costs. Many Scottish citizens are not claiming the full benefits that they are entitled to. You can check your entitlement to support, including Scottish devolved benefits, using the benefits calculator available at www.advice.scot.
District News. Churches. St Columba's Hillhead Church. St Columba's and Hillhead churches have now united to form St Columba's Hillhead Church, with services, groups and activities continuing at both sites. Do join us for our Sunday morning service at St Columba's at a new earlier time of 10 a.m, or at Hillhead at 11:30 a.m. Tea, coffee and juice will be served after the service at St Columba's and before the service at Hillhead. You are also most welcome to our midweek service held at St Columba's at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. We'd be really glad to have you join with us. If you can't come to a service in person, you can still connect with us by live stream from St Columba's via www.kirkintillochstcolumbas.org.uk, or by searching for St Columba's Kirkintilloch on YouTube. We also have a full programme of events during the week. Please see www.kirkintillochstcolumbas.org.uk for more details. Reverend Philip Wright, Minister, St Columba's Hillhead Church, Old Elm Road, Kirkintilloch, G66 3HQ, and 2 Rosebank Avenue, Kirkintilloch, G66 2PR. P. Wright at churchofscotland.org.uk. Mobile 07427 623 393. Kirkintilloch Church of God. On Sunday in the Regent Hall, Regent Street, there will be a family praise service at 4 p.m. This features our gospel praise band, video presentations, and guest speaker Colin Brooks from Wishaw. Refreshments will be served after the service. Coffee Corner is now closed for the summer and will reopen in September. For up-to-date and further information on our services, visit our website on www.regenthall.org. The Bible says, "Here is a trustworthy saying that deserves full acceptance. Christ Jesus came into the world to save sinners." 1 Timothy 1, verse 15. St David's Memorial Park Church. At St David's Memorial Park Church, our morning service on Sunday, June 26, will be at our usual time of 10:30 a.m. and will be led by our Church of Scotland reader, John Nicholson. During our morning worship, school-aged children will have the opportunity to go through to our halls for their own time of fun and learning with jam. All are welcome to attend our service. There are some COVID measures still in place. However, the wearing of face masks is not mandatory at this time. We look forward to welcoming you to the church. Our Tuesday lunchtime services have now resumed and take place each Tuesday from noon till 12:30 p.m. The next service will be on June 28th. All are welcome to attend. Home Church, Scotland. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that in your labour in the Lord is not in vain. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 58. One Church, Home Church, 5 locations, Kirkintilloch, Glasgow, North Coast, Northern Ireland, Stornoway, and online. A church for all ages. 9:30 a.m. communion, 10 a.m. prayer time, 10:30 a.m. fellowship, tea and coffee available, 11 a.m. worship service in Children's Church, followed by tea and coffee. Many buses leave Home Church at 6:30 p.m. for the church service at Renfield Centre, Bass Street, Glasgow at 7 p.m. All welcome. Thursday. An Alpha course runs on Thursdays in Glasgow at 7:30 p.m. in Renfield Church Centre. Friday. Home Church Youth meet at 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. to explore the Bible. Wednesday. Study groups 6:15 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. for parents and children. Digging Deeper Bible Study, discussion groups for adults and young people, all at 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. See Facebook and Instagram for up-to-date information. St James Church, Hilton Road, Bishopbriggs. Rector Reverend Canon Paul Watson, 0141 230 4080. The church is now open for socially distanced services. Face masks are personal choice. There is a communion service on Thursday at 11 a.m. and on Sunday, June the 26th at 10:30 a.m. Please note, the 9 a.m. service on June 26th is cancelled. Everyone is welcome to come along to any of these services. Do stay on for tea or coffee and fellowship afterwards. The Meditation Labyrinth is still available in the car park for a mindful walk round. There are also other virtual services and groups. For up-to-date and further information, refer to our social media. Facebook, St James LS Bishopbriggs. Website, www.stjamesbishopbriggs.org.uk. Kenmure Parish Church. Our Sunday morning service begins at 11 a.m. and this will be led by Anila Allen and Jim Wright. The service will be followed by a time of fellowship, teas and coffees in the hall. Seating restrictions and the need to wear masks while at worship have finally been removed. However, for those who would still prefer to be socially spaced, we are reserving the pews on the right hand side. The wearing of masks we leave to personal choice throughout the sanctuary. The service will be live streamed on YouTube and can be found by searching for Kenmure Bishopbriggs. Details of all our groups that are currently running may be found on website kenmure-church.co.uk. To find us on Facebook, just search for Kenmure Parish Church. If you would like to join our WhatsApp group or receive the Bible studies from ABC, then email us at kenmurechurch@icloud.com. Lenzie Union Parish Church. Sunday worship on June 26th will be led by Reverend Dan Carmichael at 11 a.m. in the church. There will be a baptism during the service. A live stream of the service is available on YouTube via our website. Sunday chat is at 12:30 p.m. on Zoom. Face coverings are now no longer required in church services, though face coverings should continue to be worn in the 2 areas where 1 metre social distancing remains. The meeting place coffee shop is open on Wednesdays 10 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. in the new hall. Meet your friends and enjoy a chat over a cup of tea or coffee. Everyone, from the very young to the young at heart, is welcome to join us, where we also have a good selection of greetings cards and second-hand books for sale. Lenzie Church of Scotland, Joint Summer Services. July 3rd, 10th and 17th at Lenzie Old Parish Church, led by the Reverend Louise McClements, and July 24th, 31st and August the 7th at Lenzie Union Parish Church, led by Reverend Dan Carmichael. All services start at 11 a.m. Springfield Cambridge Church. Morning worship on Sunday, June 26th, will be led by Reverend Ian Taylor and Assistant Minister Reverend Edson Duque de Castro at 11 a.m. in the sanctuary. The Sunday school joins us for the beginning of the service before continuing with their own activities in the Springfield Hall. The creche will be happy to look after your child, birth to 3 years, in room 2. Morning worship is also being live streamed on the Springfield Cambridge Church YouTube channel. A link to this can be found on the Springfield Cambridge Church website, www.springfieldcambridge.org.uk, and Facebook page, where up-to-date information about events and church organisations can also be found. Tea and coffee is available after the service in the Cameron Hall. Come along and enjoy the fellowship. There will be a vestry hour on Wednesday, June 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. There will be a short weekly service of worship in the Springfield Chapel on Wednesday, June 22nd, from 11:10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. The June digital edition of The Record, our church magazine, is now available online. The City of Glasgow Wind Orchestra is holding a concert in the church on Friday, June 24th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are available at the door, £10 adults, £6 concessions. Colston Wellpack Church. As normal, our morning service this Sunday is 11 a.m. led by Reverend Leslie Grieve, with tea and coffee served in the hall after service. However, as summer approaches, all organisations and groups will be closed for the summer season and hopefully restarting in August/September. During the month of July from 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. The food bank remains open every Monday and Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. and again, our sincere thanks to all who continually donate to this worthwhile cause. Follow our church services on Facebook at Colston Wellpack Parish Church, and if you require further information on any of our church activities, contact Leslie Grieve on 07813 255 052. Torrens Parish Church. You are assured of a warm welcome in our morning service at 10:30 a.m, and the youngsters meet together at Junior Church, Frog and Connect, and there is a creche available. During the school holidays there will be a holiday Sunday school. The Wednesday Cafe will be closed from June 22nd and will reopen at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, August 17th. To join the service online, check out torrensparishchurch.online.church. To find out what's on, check the website at www.tpc.org.uk. St Mary's Parish Church. The service on Sunday, June 26th, will begin at 11 a.m. and be taken by the Reverend Dr. Ruth Morrison. After this service, the annual stated meeting will take place in the church together with an update on the presbytery plan. Milton of Campsie Church. We are back in the building. No need to book. If you sit in the centre aisle, there is no need to wear a mask. If you sit in the side aisles, please wear one. Next Sunday, June 26th, we continue our summer sermon series entitled Action Stations. Our station will be Samaria, where the sorcerer Simon offers money to Peter. Send us a photo of yourself through your piggy bank, purse, credit card or cash. Now that tea or coffee has been served after church, there is no noon Zoom coffee. And remember the phone number for a dial-in service which enables you to hear Sunday service. Just dial 01360 545 345. Time to pray is at 7:15 p.m. to 7:55 p.m. on Wednesday. UR Aid. Our Ukrainian family have now arrived. See the UR Aid donation box in the church. We're also exploring other ways of helping. If you'd like to be involved, contact Phyllis on 07582 713 463. Our 500,000 Steps in May challenge for Christian Aid is now over. More than £2,000 has been raised by Father John, Margaret, Phil, and well over 500,000 steps have been clocked. Thanks for all the sponsorship. The Just Giving page will close at the end of June. Our house collection envelopes have totalled over £3,000, so huge thanks to all the collectors and all the givers. Go Mad planning is now underway. We meet in the Eric Liddell on Wednesdays from 8pm to 9pm. Please join us. We need help with Moonismo crafts and a Moonismo related prayer journey. Please see Phyllis for more info. 07583 713 463. Scripture Union Camp, led by Julie, our minister, will be held this year at Gowan Park beginning on Sunday, June the 26th. It's for P6, P7 and S1, an opportunity not to be missed, and generously subsidised by the church. Contact Julie for more info or text Phyllis on 07582 713 463. Go Mad takes place in Milton of Campsie from July 31st to August 11th. Look out for more details. Now only 6 weeks to go. District News General. Sweet Mindy needs a home. Animal welfare experts are appealing for a home for a sweet 15-year-old Jack Russell Terrier named Mindy, currently staying in foster care through Dogs Trust West Calder. Mindy is a gentle girl who loves human company. She adores being centre of attention and likes to snuggle up beside her favourite people for a neck scratch. Mindy would like for her owner to be at home with her most of the day to give her plenty of fuss and attention. This gorgeous golden girl would make a fantastic companion for a calm household that can offer her a loving and peaceful retirement home. If you think you could provide a home for Mindy, please call the centre on 01506 873 459. Holyrood Voice. Green Party works for more equality, by Ross Greer, MSP. Scotland can and should be a fairer and greener country than we currently are. The Greens are doing what we can to make that happen. For example, giving free bus travel to young people, expanding universal free school meals up to primary 5, and doubling the Scottish child payment. But all too often, we find ourselves just reversing or partially mitigating the failures and the deliberate cruelties of the Tories at Westminster. For many families, our doubling of this SCP to £20 per week is just compensation for their universal credit being cut by the same amount. It is clearly a good thing that Holyrood can protect people from the worst of Westminster, but our Parliament and government exist for so much more than damage limitation. Being within the UK has cost Scotland in recent years. We've been dragged out of the EU despite our clear majority to vote to stay. Our budget has been cut by the UK government, and cruel Tory immigration and asylum policies have both terrorised some of our most vulnerable neighbourhoods and created huge staff shortages in key sectors like social care. There are policies of Westminster governments Scotland did not vote for. You'd have to go back as far as 1955 to find the last time the Tories won an election here. A recent Scottish Government paper compared the UK with 10 smaller independent Northern European countries. It found that Britain was less equal and has greater levels of poverty than everyone from Ireland to Switzerland. These countries have varied circumstances and governments of different political persuasions. It's no wonder then that many Scots vote over and over again for parties who offer a referendum on independence, giving people the opportunity to put our future in our own hands rather than Boris Johnson's. Having won last year's election, the SNP and Greens are now taking action to give the public that choice next year. Greens believe passionately that Scotland can thrive with the power of a normal, independent European nation. We can put people and the planet first, and build a nation which serves everyone, not just the super rich. And we can guarantee the most fundamental principles of democracy, that people actually get the governments they voted for. New active travel ambassador. The Scottish Government has appointed Lee Craigie as the new ambassador for active travel. As part of a significant expansion of investment in walking, wheeling and cycling, the Government is currently reviewing how its programmes are planned and delivered. As an evolution of her previous role as Active Nation Commissioner, Lee has agreed to continue to support the transformation for the next 15 months, focusing on public engagement, access to bikes, and providing an independent perspective on progress. For more information on how we are working to build an active nation, visit www.transport.gov.scot/active-nation. Shared interest. Two of Scotland's largest landowners are seeking ways to work closer together where public forestry and land is adjacent to the country's rail network. Teams from Scottish Government Agency Forestry and Land Scotland, FLS, and Network Rail met to discuss ways in which they could work together to manage the risks and challenges that both organisations have on land where they are neighbours. And the outcome could be financial savings for the taxpayer, including improved resilience and reliability of our rail network, as well as day-to-day operational matters such as track access and supervision and the removal of dead or diseased trees adjacent to operational railway. The discussions also covered integrating work programmes to deal with wider issues such as integrated drainage to improve water management, reducing the risk of slope failure or rockfall. Jonathan Callis, Senior Asset Engineer for Network Rail Scotland, said, "Where do we have two large landowners with so many areas of mutual interest, there is a real value in taking a step back from the day-to-day interaction to look at what we can be doing better, different or more efficiently. Gaining an insight into the other's operational challenges and areas of experience and expertise will help lay the foundations for a closer working relationship that will help avoid incidents and costs and to better utilise resources."
Public notices. Traffic notices. Town and country planning, (development management procedure), Scotland, Regulations 2013, Regulation 20, (2). These applications, with the associated plans and documents, can be inspected online using the simple search at www.ePlanning.northlanarkshire.gov.uk/online-applications/ or at the local office below. Anyone wishing to make a comment can do so online or in writing within 14 days of this notice, or in the case of a listed building, LBC, 21 days. Application number 21/00696/FUL. Site location. Site to north of 10 Gart Ferry Road, Christon. Proposed development. 3-storey flatted block, 4 by 2 bed flats. Application number 22/00694/FUL. Site location. Site at Craignethan Drive, Gartcosh. Proposed development. Site enabling works including earthworks, construction of Suds Basin, drainage and associated development. Planning and Place Manager, Fleming House, Trist Road, Cumbernauld, G67 1JW. northlanarkshire.gov.uk. GVOL. Goods Vehicle Operations Licence. Mark Langslands Trading as Total Scaffolding Services Limited of the Shall Building, 73 Kilsyth Road, Glasgow, G66 1QF, is applying to change an existing licence as follows to keep an extra 2 goods vehicles and 0 trailers at the operating centre at the Shall Building, 73 Kilsyth Road, Glasgow, G66 1QF. Owners or occupiers of land, including buildings, near the operating centres who believe that their use or enjoyment of that land would be affected should make written representations to the Traffic Commissioner at Hillcrest House, 386 Hare Hills Lane, that's HAREHILLS Lane, Leeds, LS9 6NF, stating their reasons within 21 days of this notice. Representers must at the same time send a copy of their representations to the application at the address given at the top of this notice. A guide to making representations is available from the Traffic Commissioner's Office. Family announcements. Deaths. May Baird. Sadly, at Glasgow Royal Infirmary on Wednesday, June 8th, 2022. May, much loved mum of John, Stephen, Graham, and the late Elaine, Gary, and Alexander, and a loving grand to Emma, Paul, and Laura. Funeral service to take place at J&D Lawson Funeral Directors, 9 Kilsyth Road, Kirkintilloch, on Friday, June 24th at 11 a.m, and thereafter to Old Isle Cemetery. Alfie Cadenduff, peacefully at home on Monday, June 6th, 2022. Alfie, beloved husband of the late Anne, and loving dad to Ryan. Funeral service to take place at 10 a.m. on Friday, July 1st at Canner Freestone, 5 St Mungo Street, Bishopbriggs, G64 1QT. Thereafter to Cadder Cemetery, Bishopbriggs, arriving at 11 a.m. In Memoriam. Doris and Harry Coyle. Those we love don't go away, they walk beside us every day. All your loving family, kiss kiss. Lister, Annie and James, brackets Jimmy. In loving memory of our mum and dad, who passed away on June 25th, 2020, and dad on June 28th, 2009. Treasured memories, dearly held by all the family. Matheson, Robin. 15-year anniversary. Treasured memories of our much-loved nephew, Robin. Always in our thoughts and forever in our hearts. Love from Nancy and Norman. Kiss, kiss.
Road test. Kia EV6 GT line. Fancy a cuppa? Get yourself an EV6. All electric Kia has some hidden talents, writes Rob Ochterloney. Sometimes when conducting a test in a car, it's the little extras that create a lasting impression. Like the V2L system in Kia's all-electric EV6, a car that's been picking up plaudits and awards in equal measure. Called vehicle to load. Basically, it means the car can power household kit like a kettle or even a microwave oven from its charging port. Seriously handy in a power cut, and I wouldn't rule them out in future if things can escalate further in Eastern Europe. Here we have an electric car that makes claims can charge faster than a Tesla at a rate of 235 kilowatts, if you can find a charger that can deliver that. Best of luck with that, but it would get you up to 80% from 10 in under 20 minutes. Pulls apart is the 44 hours needed, according to the display, to get back up to 100% from 46 on a 1.3 kilowatt basic household feed. The Korean manufacturer isn't new to electrification, with the e-Niro and Soul EV already in its ranks, and EV6 has a large 77.4 kilowatt battery to give all versions an official range of well over 300 miles. In RWD form, EV6 has one 226 bhp motor driving the rear wheels, giving performance that's pretty decent. 7.3 seconds is quoted from 0 to 62 miles per hour, though it seems swifter. Electric even. It's certainly quite agile, there's not a lot of leaning as you negotiate corners and roundabouts, and there's that feeling that it's well planted on the road. There's a firmness to the ride quality, but not in an uncomfortable way for the occupants. It just exudes solidity. And there's nothing much in the way of noise to deal with, even from tyres or swiftly passing wind. Even the whoosh from the electric motor as impetus builds up is well subdued internally. The driving position is slightly higher than in other EVs, but this is no SUV, but you could look on it as a statement buy. It's got bags of street presence with its wide body, distinctive front end look, and its sloping roof, and the curved light bar round its nether regions is pretty distinctive. The angled windscreen pillars don't affect your view out at junctions and roundabouts too badly, and the relatively high driving position gives you a good forward view. Its big rear pillars and rising window line make over-the-shoulder visibility a touch restrictive, but there is a reversing camera and rear sensors to help with parking. GT line trim and above adds to front parking centres, with range-topping GT line S models getting a 360-degree bird's eye view camera. All versions have a curved 12.3-inch touchscreen positioned high in the middle of the dashboard, which is easy to see and has a relatively user-friendly operating system. But sometimes there's a pause between pressing an icon and anything actually happening. Adjusting the interior temperature is easy thanks to physical dials on the dashboard, but there is a touch-sensitive panel below them for all air conditioning settings. All trims have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone mirroring, while GT line models and above get wireless phone charging from a pad close to your left hand. It's very well equipped, including seat back charging points and accessible to rear seat passengers. It looks suitably upmarket inside for an affordable EV, with plenty of gloss back and rubberized surfaces, and, typically of Kia, it all feels well put together. And it had to happen, didn't it? All the leather, on all trim levels, is vegan rather than the real thing. The car, in fact, Kia EV GT line, price £44,695, engine 77.4 kilowatt lithium iron polymer battery, power 225 British bhp, torque 258 pounds per foot, transmission single speed automatic, top speed 114 mph, 0 to 62 mph, 7.3 seconds, economy 328 mile range, CO2 emissions 0 grams per kilometre.
Sport, read by myself, Corey. Games on for judo ace David, written by Darren Hudson. Bishopbriggs judo ace David Ferguson has been named in Scotland's squad for this summer's Commonwealth Games in the West Midlands. The 24-year-old and fellow East Bartonshire martial artist, maestro Rachel Tytler, are among an 11-strong squad announced by Judo Scotland to compete at the Birmingham-based Games in August. The pair, both making their Commonwealth Games debuts, know they'll have their work cut out to match the tally of 13 medals, including 6 golds, amassed by their country at the 2014 Games in Glasgow. But that's the target they're setting themselves as they train at the Sports National Centre at Ratho in Edinburgh. Ferguson, competing at 60 kilograms, said, quote, "Being picked is a great buzz, and we are both really proud to be going as part of a great Scotland team. Training is really hard but enjoyable. Events like the Games only come along every so often, so we are hoping to do well." Tytler, also 24, is set to fight at under 78 kilograms, and she said, quote, "The Commonwealth Games are special, and we all have great memories of Glasgow in 2014. Normally we represent Team Great Britain, so the chance to fight for Scotland is a great honour." Glasgow 2014 gold medalist Sarah Adlington and Chris Sherrington will lead the Scottish squad, also featuring debutantes Kirsty Marshall, Hannah Wood, Malin Wilson, Dylan Munro, Alexander Short, Finlay Allen, and Billy Rodman. Adlington, 35, said, quote, "It's a great honour to be selected to represent Scotland at any event, but even more so at the Commonwealth Games. I am really excited to compete. It is also another opportunity for the public to see some world-class judo. I know there will be a lot of Scottish support in the crowd, and that will be great for all the Scottish athletes. Judo events will take place at the Coventry Arena from Monday, August 1st to Wednesday, August 3rd. Team Scotland Chief de Mission, Eleanor Middlemiss, added, quote, "It's a real honour to represent Scotland, and I am really pleased for the athletes who have been selected. There's a real depth of experience and potential in this squad, and I have no doubt that more experienced members of the team will actively support those making their games debuts." That article written by Darren Hudson. Post-COVID comeback continues for Maya. Lindsay's Maya Lumsden continued her recovery from COVID-19 by making it into the main singles draw of the Lawn Tennis Association's Ilkley Trophy, and also getting to the event's doubles final. Lumsden beat Poland's Ursula Radwanska last Monday to reach the main draw of the International Tennis Federation Women's World Tennis Tour event in West Yorkshire. That 4-6, 6-2, 10-7 victory over the contest's 12th seed in the qualifying draw followed a 6-3, 6-1 win against 6th seed Gabriella C in the first round of qualifying the day before. Lumsden, 24, went out in the first round, however losing 6-3, 6-2 to Switzerland's Simona Waltert. She made it all the way to the final at doubles through paired with Nikatha Baines of Shadwell near Leeds, losing 6-7, brackets 7-9, and brackets 6-0, 11-9, to Lizette Cabrera of Australia and Sejong Yang of South Korea. The pair beat France's Estella Casino and Jessica Ponchette in the semi-finals to get there. Club celebrating bumper medal haul. Kirkintilloch and Kilsyth Amateur Swimming Club had to contend with mixed fortunes at the latest Scottish Under-17 Girls Water Polo Club final and West District Swimming Championships. At the District Championships, club members notched up numerous personal bests and came away with a handful of medals. Taking the biggest medal haul of the weekend was Andrew Henry. He won a gold medal in the 50-metre breaststroke and bronze medals in the 100-metre breaststroke and 50-metre freestyle. Logan Moffat won a gold medal in the 100-metre freestyle. Lavisa McLeod took a bronze in the 50-metre freestyle, and Elena Sands did likewise in the 50-metre breaststroke. Sarah McCormick swam a new best time in the 50-metre butterfly, as did Julia Baldi in the 100-metre backstroke. The next day, Elena, Lavisa, Guella and Sarah were in action at under-17 level in the final of the Scottish Water Polo Cup. Up against a combined Dunfermline and Mersey Hill White Hill team, the youngsters lost the first quarter 10-1, the second 5-1 and the third 6-1 before their opponents closed the match off in the fourth quarter 7-0 to finish with the scoreline at 25-3. Reflecting on the weekend's mixed fortunes, coach Chris Scooby said, quote, "For many of our swimmers, it has been a while since they have been able to swim competitively. And so for many of our swimmers to set personal best times and to come home with medals was great to see as a reward for all their hard work. It was also amazing that 4 of our swimmers were able to show their versatility the next day to play in the Scottish Water Polo Cup final." Scooby added, "We know that many parents are looking to get their children back into swimming, and we are here to help everyone get the most out of the sport." Kirkintilloch and Kilsyth Amateur Swimming Club is the only club in Scotland to provide coaching in swimming, water polo and synchronised swimming, and we have places in all 3 disciplines within the club for children who wish to be part of a fun club. You can find out more information at www.kandkswim.uk. Again, that's www.kandk, which is the letter K, ANDKSWIM.uk. Further friendlies for Rabs. Kirkintilloch Rob Roy have arranged a flurry of friendlies ahead of their next West of Scotland Football League Premier Division campaign. Manager Stuart Maxwell's side have now got another 4 pre-season warm-ups lined up to follow the friendly against Kilsyth Rangers on Saturday, July 9th. Previously announced as they look to improve their top 10 finish last time round. That game kicks off at 2 p.m. All away too. They're at Stirling University on Tuesday, July 12th at 7:30 p.m. At Bonnyton Thistle on Saturday, July 16th at 2:30 p.m. At Drumchapel United on Tuesday, July 19th at 7:30 p.m. and Broxburn Athletic on Saturday, July 23rd at 2:30 p.m. The Rabs finished 9th last season with 56 points from 38 games. Midfielder latest to agree deal. Midfielder Alan Woodhouse has become Kirkintilloch Rob Roy's latest recruit of the close season. Woodhouse, formerly of Pollock, joins the Rabs from fellow West of Scotland Football League Premier Division outfit Rosvale. His appearance follows those of goalkeepers Owen Stott, defenders Dylan Young and Colin Granger, strikers Derek McNabb and Robbie Young, and winger Cammy McNair, as manager Stuart Maxwell, now a UEFA B qualified coach, rebuilds his squad in a bid to improve on last season's 9th place finish in the table. A top half finish will be a tougher ask next time round too, as the Premier Division has been slimmed down to 16 teams, from its previous complement of 20. Basso helps Tigers keep up unbeat home record. Benjamin Basso proved to be a great Dane as Glasgow Tigers fought off a dogged Oxford Cheetahs side to maintain their unbeaten home run at Ashfield. The 20-year-old was beaten just once by the English team as his all-action style won over fans once again in the Speedway Great Britain Championship tie last Friday evening. There were also strong displays from reserves Brock Nicol with a 9+1 and Dayan Hume, whose 7+2 haul included a win over visiting number 1 and 7 times former British champion Scott Nicholls. And despite a determined display from the visitors, including an 8+1 win for Aaron Summers on his return to the sport after nearly a year out, the home side were comfortable 53-37 winners at the end. Basso said, quote, "Right now we have some engines that do me a favour, and I made some good starts all day and took the wide line. It's about having the encouragement to pick the right lines out there. I'm confident with the bike. I know what it does when it hits something or when I hit the air fence when I'm that wide out. Today some guys struggled, but you never know. It might be me next time. So it's good that we can make up for each other. I think the strongest thing about our team is that we have 2 experienced riders, and then we have young riders, thirsty riders, riders who want to prove themselves and who are keen to get some trophies." Glasgow now travels south of the border to Oxford tonight before welcoming league leaders Leicester Lions to Ashfield this coming Friday.
Thank you for listening to this week's Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, brought to you by Q&A Review, print speaking to the blind. If you've any feedback, you're welcome to call us on 0141 772 3976. If you enjoyed this recording, feel free to subscribe to our channel.